Sorry guys, but we are gonna do the osight-X today. Hey guys, today we have the osight-X. Now hear me out. I'm sure you've already seen all the videos and everything, the osight-X being dropped multiple times and breaking and shattering. That's because this thing is definitely not made for that. I'm treating the osight-X as I would a Reticle SRO. The SRO is made more for competition, range use, and actual recreational use. It's not really meant to be a full-on indestructible device. If you wanted that, then you'd get the Acro instead. This thing is in that same boat. Now, knowing that, I am going to be going into this review with an open mind. Now, a couple features about this thing, okay? It is still going to feature that magnetic charging cover. That magnetic charging cover will still charge your battery, and it will still last a very long time. Another feature about the magnetic charging cover, they did some improvements with it where it will accept all suppressor height sights and it won't be obstructed whatsoever. It's still going to maintain that 1x1, almost 1x1 window size, but it is absolutely massive and large. It is an MRO system now, so it's not going to be just a dot anymore. You can swap between a 3 MOA dot, 32 MOA ring, or a combination of both, which is a nice feature. That's pretty much standard nowadays inside the optic world. It is going to be made of a new housing material, but as you've already seen from the other videos, it is not super duper durable, but for today's testing purposes, being a test that's going to be similar to like the Reticle SRO, I will not be dropping this thing. You guys already know what its durability is. I am only here to actually test out its function, capabilities, and if it's going to hold zero after 500 rounds of hard use. Now, before we get started, it would really help me out a lot if you hit that subscribe button. A lot of you guys aren't subscribed yet, but I would absolutely love it if you were. Alrighty, we are at 15 yards. We are going to do a rough zero and see where it actually drifts off to by the end of the 500 rounds. Let's check it out. And I did pretty terrible on that, but you can see the grouping for the most part. 15 yards, we'll just do an average grouping right there. Now with the initial test, the Springfield Prodigy and the osight-X has been pretty darn easy to actually utilize. It's a pretty good medium in between the two. Pickup is super fast on these things. I'm not having any issues with it, especially with doing multiple different engagements and seeing where I'm at with that. Pickup super easy on these things. I am pretty much all in the A zone at 10 yards right now. We're going to do a couple build drills to see where it's at. All right, out here at 7 yards, we're going to see how well we can actually do the build with this thing. Well-aimed shots this time, not just point shooting, okay? That one was a 1.9. Yeah, 1.9 again, whatever. I'm a little rusty today, but it's okay. It's not too bad. But the pickup is very quick though. That's the main point of this. In terms of the table banging, for some odd reason, you guys like to see the table bang. But honestly, I feel like the table bang doesn't really do too much. Maybe like adjusting the mount or so. If you have a proper mount, you'll be fine in general. But I feel like it really doesn't do too much in general. Now, taking a look at that reticle, the reticle is going to be nice and crisp and clear, depending on where your focal point is for the most part. Sorry for the wind. It is very easy to pick up in general. This is going to be on one of their lower-ish settings, so it's not affecting it too much. But the reticle is definitely nice and crispy. Me personally, I do like the dot better, but some people will enjoy having the dot and circle or circle alone for quicker acquisition. But in general, it works pretty darn good. No issues there whatsoever. And just so you know, we are at roughly about 25 yards. Now, as we're all aware, it's still just a piece of Chinesium, okay? The original osight definitely was a piece of dog shit. This one is a huge improvement to that original osight, but it's still there, you know? The stigma is still gonna be around. I'm here to test it out. I'm trying to have an open mind on it. So far, I'm roughly at 350 rounds, so everything is moving along swimmingly, and I'm not having any issues with it whatsoever so far. All right, we are coming on our last few rounds in terms of the magazines, so we can see where everything's at and retest that zero. Right now, I just have 2 magazines left, and then we will have the final 10 rounds for the final 0. I'm still at 15 yards or so, just seeing if it's still on point. Still going pretty darn good. Acquisition is super easy with this ginormous window. So far, very, very viable. It is holding up to everything that I've been shooting it with. Last thing we have to do is do that re-verification on that 0. All right, last 5 rounds out of the 500. Let's see how well that 0 held up after 500 rounds. Let's check it out. Now, taking a look at that grouping right there, I think the grouping got better over time, probably just mainly because I started getting a little bit better. My dexterity got a little bit better too. But comparing these final 5 to the first 5, yeah, I'd say it pretty much held 0 after all 500 rounds. That's pretty darn good, surprisingly, actually. Now, final thoughts on the osight-X. The osight-X, I'd say it's a great recreational optic. It's probably really decent for like competition use as well. Me personally, because of its massive size and everything, I probably wouldn't use it as a carry optic. Because of its durability as well, I'm probably not going to use it as a duty type optic either. So I would stick this one more towards the recreational home defense and also the competition side of things. In terms of overall use, it works pretty damn good. You know, honestly, the pickup is super fast with these things because of its massive size. That's why it would be perfect for home defense or even recreational and competition use. In terms of its controls and user interface, it's pretty darn good. There's almost no distortion in terms of that glass whatsoever. That 3 MOA dot really does pop out for you, and that 32 MOA ring really makes for very fast acquisition. It held 0 the whole time, so I'm pretty surprised by that, knowing the original Osight's original dogshit performance, but this one actually worked pretty darn good. For a optic, in terms of the price and overall performance and overall use, ease of use, and all that jazz, I'm going to give this thing a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. Obviously, it's not made for like super durability. It's not made to be like an indestructible optic. I treat it the same way as a Trijicon SRO. Trijicon makes some fantastic optics, but that $500–600 SRO is definitely not durable, so I'm putting in that same category. If you're a new shooter, for 200 buckaroos, it's not bad. It's a pretty darn good price. I'm not gonna throw a fit over it or anything. Is it gonna be my favorite optic? Probably not. Would I prefer like other optics at the $400 or $500 realm? Yes, absolutely. You know, that's an easy yes. All of its features worked pretty darn good for me. No cracks on the window, no cracks on the screen, especially with the Springfield Prodigy so far. As long as you're not dropping it directly on the optic itself, you're perfectly fine. Definitely not the worst optic, definitely not the best optic, but it is a good somewhere in between for anyone that is struggling with a budget-friendly option. The osight-S, definitely a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. Like, share, comment, subscribe down below. Let me know your thoughts on this or what I should be doing next. And as always, thanks for stopping by.